Hey guys, welcome to the Sega Continue podcast, where every other week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. As always, I'm Shanae Howard, and with me is Tommy Shelby
Hi guys.
and Ryan Robinson.
What up? How's it going? This is me, your favorite. So,
So,
So guys, what have y'all been up to? What have you been playing?
well, we kind of figured that could just be today's topic. We didn't have a topic planned, but you know, every show we start off with what have we been playing, and I feel like we could carry on those things for a bit.
that's something that I've been thinking. Like, we always talk about what we've been playing, but we never go really into the meat of those
Yeah.
of those games. We never talk about them in depth. And sometimes I don't know.
To do.
Sometimes I don't know what those games are really about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'd like to hear more about the stuff that you guys are playing.
Sure.
So, whatever,
Well, is there any exciting life news that anybody has? Any, what have you guys been up to?
Well, I mean, there's the game dev stuff that I'm working on that I'm still super excited about. Um, I watched a really interesting video about animation last night,
Yeah.
and
Claymation?
well, not necessarily claymation. That the magic of claymation has worn off for me. I now
What?
I now know that the clay isn't moving on its own. It's just they're resculpting it or repositioning the clay every time. So
Right.
I thought the clay was
I
moving
mean,
on
That's
its
no
own.
that's no different than really any other animation.
I thought that the clay was moving on its own, Tom. Is what I'm saying.
Like cartoons, those pictures aren't moving on their own. You
Shut
know what
up.
I mean?
That's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
You mean to say that Toy Story isn't real?
That's not true. Oh,
What?
actually, I got to look up the name of the guy who worked on it. But I watched this really interesting video
On
about
Toy Story?
specifically Toy Story for the Sega Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Uh, like it just the video just kind of went into detail about how like they were able to like simulate 3D on the platform and like talking about like the constraints of the Genesis and working around those constraints to do different things with like textures and animation and stuff. It was really cool. The other life news that I have is there's a lot of gnats in our house, and that's kind of a problem for me.
Nads?
Gnats.
Mm.
But we have enacted countermeasures. So it is
Just like swarms of frogs.
release the
And then,
frogs.
and then he's gonna bring in foxes to kill the frogs. And then he's gonna bring in wolves to kill the fox. It's like a give a mouse a cookie kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I will bring in the man to kill the man. But but not really. Like that's the thing is like that not a whole lot of exciting life news happens because we're just, it's in this time loop of
Sure.
of the pandemic, so
Uh, But super interesting on my front. Just been doing house stuff.
I would imagine you'd be doing a lot of that.
Yeah, there's like 3 sections in my backyard, like the two back corners and then like a middle part where it's like a kind of like a semicircle or like half circle hitting to the
Yeah.
fence. And so one of those that had some poisonous plants for Luna, so we had to get an arborist out and get those removed, and that's been a whole hassle. The middle part has like a sandbox, and I don't feel like cleaning sand out of Luna's butt. Berto calls it Luna's poop box, and it tries to encourage her to get into it, but no. So
That's a good
uh,
idea.
I'm not about to have sand all over my house, and she has so much fur. I'm not about to like deal with that in my life.
You
So
just pretend like you're island living, baby.
yeah, you're on the beach, baby. Right?
but
Drink out of a coconut or a grass
I'm
skirt.
eventually because I don't want to like have
Yeah.
to deal with like taking out an entire like wooden sandbox because it's like built into the ground. I'm actually gonna get some rocks and dirt and stuff and fill it up and have like a raised garden.
So you're gonna have
Uh,
a rock box.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have a rock box.
Rockbox sounds
Instead of
cooler than Sandbox, honestly.
But yeah, I just got some material to cover it finally, and then the other side was like overtaken by weeds. But I finally took all that out and got like one of those claw things to like take up the weeds and like turn up the soil. And
Yeah.
then I need to get some like grass seeds and put it down. And so I'm just gonna take that part out completely. And then yeah, just like that kind of stuff. I also haven't really been playing really anything besides the Toby games. I've been really getting into them again since our last time. I've also tried to get. So I tried to watch Boruto before because I watched all of Naruto, which was not the
Painful.
best decision.
Wait, you tried to watch what before?
Naruto.
Boruto. I watched all of Naruto. I tried to watch Boruto and I couldn't get into
What's
it.
Boruto?
So I've been.
It's
Boruto is
his
about
little
Naruto's
boy.
son. It's the next generation,
Yeah.
Oh.
like Degrassi.
Boruto, or yeah, like
Wait.
Star Trek.
Wait, so okay, I get it. I understand.
So it's like all the kids and stuff, and some of it's like really cute, and I absolutely adore. But some of it I am so over, but I keep hearing it gets better later. So I'm like,
No, see, you don't do that because people are, oh, wait till season 2. Then you gotta watch all. You gotta fucking sludge your way through season 1.
Why isn't
you
season
know?
1 good?
there's already 180 something episodes,
Oh, yeah.
and I stopped last time, and I was watching them as they came out, around episode 20 to 25.
Yeah.
And now I'm on like episode 27, 28, so I'm a little bit further than where I stopped last time. And I just want to get to the good parts, but there are some very cute things. Like, there's certain characters that have like mannerisms, and every now and then they'll make their kids like copy their mannerisms, and I'll recognize it, and I'm just like, oh.
That's a nice little detail, sure.
Yeah, there's like a one character, that like whenever her future husband would like say something or do something and she was trying to be cute, she would like do a little shoulder shrug and blush. And then their son was trying to convince their dad of something, so he did a little shoulder shrug, and it's just like, aw, like it's just like a cute little thing. And so I like all that. But with those things, I have honestly been thinking about like a lot about like whatever. It's about like why is there never like a Tony games for like shit like Boruto and Bleach and all these things that people like make hundreds of thousands of fan fiction stories about, like that they want to date all the characters anyways. Might as well make it into a video game and profit. Like, I know the Atomi market's not like dominating anything, and nor is it like the blockbusters, and it probably wouldn't pull the money that like the fighting games do. And I've played some of the Naruto fighting games. I've played some of the Dragon Ball Z, and I do like them, or some of them like generally. But I don't know. I just feel like these giant franchises like lend themselves a lot to it. So
I
I've
think
kind of
like like you kind of answered your own question in that like they're gonna make more on the fighting games, you know. I do think like that audience, especially like Naruto, Boruto, compared to something like DBZ, would probably be more receptive to something like an Otomi based off of it. But
yeah.
like I think it needs to be like an inclusion in another game, the way that like Under Night is basically an Otomi with a fighting game attached to it, you know.
There's also like they could do something similar to when they do Dynasty Warriors Gundam, and you have to do all of the relationship like bonuses and stuff. They could definitely add that into there, or even like how Fire Emblem Three Houses has all the like visual novel-esque things where you have to gain relationships.
You always got to bring it back to Fire Emblem Three Houses.
I do. Always. That game. I am now that game. I am Byleth. I am a teacher at Hogwarts.
Sinead,
but like,
if you like shows about lineages and passing things down to children and children copying their parents. I have a show I could recommend to you. It's called Winona Earp.
I was going to say, is it one?
Really great show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It is.
But yeah, so I've been doing that. I've just been playing a lot of the Tell Meets, and I don't know, kind of like I haven't had a lot of like, depression's kicking my ass. I started this puzzle to try and like help myself out, and I got to a point where it's annoying, and I've never taken a break from puzzle this long, and I haven't even been playing Three Houses, which is surprising to me.
Wait, Shanae, before I forget, I had you watch Way of the House Husband.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so cute. I loved it.
Tom, do you know what that is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay. Do you want to give the rundown?
Okay, so basically, it's an anime about a former yakuza who marries this girl, and he decides to become a house husband so that she could pursue her career. But like the comedy of the show comes in where everything is like super serious to him, and like everything is like a live or die like scenario, like things like clipping coupons or like cleaning the house. He's like always acting like it's like this huge battle, and it's just very funny.
Like, yeah, like he goes to like the store to try and get on sales and stuff, and he's just like, the exits are there, and then like doing just doing like strategies in his head to like get across like all his opponents, and he's like, oh, she's so strong.
This is an anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very short one on Netflix. Highly recommend. There's not that many episodes. Berto also got a subscription to Funimation, since Funimation and Crunchyroll or something. And god damn it, does that app fucking suck? On my Apple TV, I have to screen mirror from my phone because if I do anything in the app, it crashes. I can't go, it has a section for genres, and I can click on genres, but I cannot click on any of the genres once I'm on that sub menu.
Yeah.
And if I try to search like the genre on the app, it just crashes.
That's too much to ask.
Yeah.
So what I do is I'll screen mirror from my phone to try and find whatever I want to watch, or like figure out what I want to watch, and then I'll have to like search it and click on for the exact anime title, and that's the only time it doesn't crash, if I search for the exact anime title.
And you don't want to do it like that either, because like if you're doing that and like some incriminating text pops up, everybody's gonna see it.
I literally
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I literally stopped the screen sharing when I had to search for something one time on online, and Berto's like, why are you doing that? I was like, I don't want you to see how many times I Google Berto's butt, just to make sure it's not on the internet. But yeah, so I got him like things like 999, The World Ends With You, Zero's Escape, stuff like that. It's not really Berto's jam, but I didn't realize, or I guess I forgot, that The World Ends With You has an anime. And so I made him watch that, because I know that he'll never play the game. So it's pretty nice, because I've been able to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And on there. And then he's been watching Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I started watching this like comedy one where it's called like Bottom Tier Character, and it's essentially this guy who plays Smash and is one of the top Smash players, and he finds like a rival, and they agree to meet in person, and it's like this popular girl at school, and then she basically tries to teach him how to be like sociable and popular in the game of life. It's kind of like if y'all are familiar with the subreddit R Outside, where they just treat life like a video game. Like, hey, how do I get stats in gardening?
I would fucking hate that. That sounds insufferable.
Well, you don't have to go to that subreddit.
I will not.
But yeah, so I've just been watching a lot of anime, playing a lot of Otomis. Like, they've just been really like comforting and nice, and it's just really fun because I'm going through them a lot slower than I normally do. Because normally I was just like, all right, well, I know stuff. I just kind of want to see like the pretty pictures and like get the general gist. And a lot of times before, I would use a lot of guides to make if I wanted to make sure I hit every ending. And I've been doing a lot more like freeform with it, and it's just been nice. It's really I don't know like some obviously there's like bad ones out there, but I've been playing a lot of the well-rated ones, and it's just kind of amazing that even though a lot of the genre is not like anything spectacular because it's just like relies on tropes, certain things because they're trying to appeal to audiences and like, oh, do you want the bad boy or the nerdy quiet guy? But a lot of these have like really cool concepts in there, and I've just been really appreciating.
I want the bad boy.
Yeah, I want the nerdy bad boy.
Yeah.
Nah, I want the house husband.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've just been doing that, and then trying to watch Boruto, and then imagining what a Naruto visual novel would be like.
Well, why don't you make that?
Yeah, do it.
You can make a Naruto twine pretty easily.
Yeah, twine it up, baby.
Yeah.
Twine.
It's like think like a VN where like it's text and like choosing certain texts lead to other things. It's just a very simple
visual
way.
novels work.
Yeah, so it's a very simple way of making a game like that that's literally just text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely could. I don't know. But I would definitely be doing like adult versions because I still don't like. I don't know. Now that I've been watching more and more anime, I just yet again, and I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I do have a really big problem with the fetishization of children with anime.
Mm.
Oh, you don't like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because, see, Tom was under the impression that you did like that.
But, like, yeah, I hate that fucking thing where it's like, oh, but she's 1,000 years old, but she just is in the body of a 10-year-old with gigantic tits. This isn't weird. Nothing's weird about
that
this.
actually,
Today, that's 1,000 is old enough. All right.
It's above the age of consent.
Sure.
Yeah, it just like really bothers me. And so that's like been my least favorite thing about the hobby lately. And yeah,
It's
so I
not
think
a hobby. Okay. When you watch
Fetishization of
TV,
children isn't
you
a
don't
hobby?
call it a hobby.
yeah, you do.
I think if
People
you
have
watch...
fucking
I don't sit
hobbies
down. I don't sit down and watch Cheers and be like, I'm doing my hobby.
No, I think that if you like...
I don't sit down and play video games and be like, I'm doing my hobby. Like, I'm just like...
I think if you could watch TV in a certain way, if you could shoot it as a hobby. I think
Okay,
if you make it like
Fair
more
enough.
of an active experience, then it's less of a
Sure.
hobby.
No,
Sure.
if you're like an icebreaker at work and you're like, oh, what are some of your hobbies? Like, oh, I really like watching like, I don't know, like drama TV shows like The Wire and things like that. That's a hobby. Like,
Okay.
I think anything can be a hobby, personally, but
Anything?
yeah, I think anything can be a hobby. I think anything can be
I
a
knew
hobby.
somebody. I knew somebody
All right.
who collected Yoo-Hoo bottles. They were my worst enemy.
Were they named Ryan?
I didn't collect the bottles. I didn't collect the bottles were all full, number one.
Yeah.
Of Yoo-Hoo, that is. After I consumed the contents, the bottles were discarded. So
Were they?
yes, they were actually.
Eventually.
They were discarded on the floorboard of his car.
You know, that actually hurts me because I don't currently have a car. And as someone without a car, I think you should be a little bit more sensitive to...
Okay.
Check his privilege.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So be a little cooler about it from now on.
Yeah, you should be really a lot more sensitive to the others around you,
Yeah.
Tom.
I know. It's
You're
hard.
such a fucking dick.
What are you up to, Tommy?
Hey, Shanae. Nothing really. I've been playing lots of games and reading lots of comic books.
Hell yeah, you've been reading lots of comic books.
Been playing more guitar. I got this new guitar over here.
Oh yeah, you bought yourself a guitar.
No, my dad keeps giving me his old guitars. So
Right
I'm
on.
like, hey, I'll take more
gift.
guitars.
Yeah, sure.
Huh?
So it's not the worst gift. My mom keeps giving me vegetable storage bags.
I mean, if I don't like it, I can get like $800 for it, so that's nice.
Yeah. I mean, those are good bags to have for when you're making your cookies and chocolates.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I read lots of comics.
To the store, so you don't have to use the plastic ones.
Sure.
I've been. I got that Superman 78 this week. That just came out.
That really good Gene Hackman on the cover of it.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet because I kind of want to watch Superman and Superman 2 again before I read it. But yeah, it looks cool. Obviously, there's some Brainiac in there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Brainiac's right on the cover of that son of a bitch.
Seen the Brainiac from Supergirl?
That's a different Brainiac, stupid.
But
speaking of Supergirl's coming back soon, so soon I'll be starting back up my hobby of watching Supergirl.
So what's the deal with?
I don't know why you're doing that to yourself because it's not great.
It's not.
Supergirl is bad.
I stopped all the CW shows. I was diehard. Y'all know it.
Like none of those shows are very good, right? But like I still have fun with them. It's kind of like how you and I watched Bates Motel.
Yeah.
Bates Motel is not a good show. But
I was just trying to tell
fun.
I was just trying to tell listen. This is Bates Motel came up when I was trying to talk about getting you to watch Winona Earp. Okay? Because
we're done talking about Winona Earp, okay? It's been going on for fucking years now.
Listen. Look, you guys get to talk about Smallville like every fucking day, and that show's been over forever. Winona Earp is still here.
Yeah. Winona Earp is not going to make it for 10 seasons, all right?
It might.
Also,
and yeah, been adding a bunch of new books to my pull list that aren't out yet, but like, have you guys seen like the artwork for Dark Knights of Steel?
No.
It looks so fucking dope. It's like medieval Justice League, you know?
Cool.
Nice.
And it's Tom Taylor who like did Deceased and all that, so like he's very good at doing like these like 12 issue runs of like here's some weird side thing, you know.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be sick. And then Jacques is doing like his first Batman comic called One Dark Knight, and that looks pretty fucking cool. So
have y'all seen the new Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah, I saw that. Pretty interesting. I'm not the biggest Doctor Strange guy, but
I hope that the trailer is kind of a misleading thing, and he's not in the movie as much as that trailer depicts. I'm hoping it's more like a thing where Spider-Man like begs Doctor Strange to do the thing because like his like family's getting and his friends are getting like done into it. He does the thing, and then Spider-Man goes on his way, has his adventures. Doc Ock shows up, and he's like, "How does Dr. Octopus? Who is this guy? How do I know? Like, how does he know who I am?" And then that's when he goes to Strange, and then that's when you see all the Morphe stuff, and it's just like the last third of the movie that Doctor Strange is truly in.
I like those Tom Holland movies. Okay, like I'm sure I'll watch this new one. You know, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But like, don't you guys feel like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies feel like they were supposed to be Miles Morales movies, and like they just changed it to Peter Parker? Like, what the fuck is Ned if not Genki? Like, Peter doesn't have one of those, you know? Like, and even the way he acts, like he acts more like Miles than he does like Peter.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very strange.
I definitely can see that, but we already have confirmation from I think in the first movie that Miles Morales does exist in there because Prowler is like, oh, my nephew goes to school there or whatever.
Sure.
But
it seemed like they were written as Miles movies, and then they were like, nah, it needs to be Peter Parker, so they changed a few names and shit, you know?
Yeah.
I think that they probably took like influence because I don't know, man. I did not click. I appreciate what the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies did to the comic book movie, the genre, and like kicked it off. But I never liked those. Andrew Garfield, I fucking want to punch him in the face so goddamn bad.
That's
And
me.
he just made him sound like
All right.
whiny, pretty boy. He's like, no one will understand me. I'm gonna do skateboarding and take pictures.
Those are cool
Yeah.
And it was
things.
just super annoying.
Those are hobbies.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, those are hot. There you go, Ryan.
Well, I'm pretty sure that anyone, I mean, maybe some people that are skateboarding are like, as they do a kickflip, like, this is my hobby, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And then they made, I mean, I wanted Jamie Foxx to win so bad. It was his birthday. No one gave a shit.
Sure.
But like, I really, really like how much, because like, in a lot of the comics, isn't Peter Parker, granted, I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan, like a teenager for a lot of those, like, isn't he pretty young, like, and not like a fully grown adult? Which,
I mean, early on, yeah, but I mean, by early on, I mean like fucking 50, 60 years ago, you know? Unless you're
I don't
talking
know.
about like Ultimate Spider-Man, which is like its own canon. Marvel's weird in that like everything that happened. So we just very slowly age up our characters
Yeah.
and change things to match the current landscape. So Frank Castle was no longer in Vietnam; he was in Iraq. You know, like things like that.
Hell yeah.
But
Frank Castle's
I
cool,
mean,
man. I love
that.
that
They
guy.
could do the whole New 52 where everything happens in 5 years. Which is awesome. Okay.
Need more Frank
But
Castle.
I don't know. I do agree with you. A lot of stuff is. Granted, I also have not read a lot of Miles Morales comics,
yeah,
but from what I know, but I don't know. I was super happy that it's like at least different than the having to watch Uncle Ben die again, having to hear all those lines all the time, and I also like that it felt more like slice of life on the Spider-Man movies. From like, it didn't feel as grandiose as like or as World encompassing it in most of those Spider-Man movies and any of the other Marvel movies. And I know this movie is a stepping stone to Multiverse of Madness, but I do hope we get more of. I know other people don't super enjoy that it doesn't feel like Spider-Man's got his own like thing yet, or like he's not included enough. I hear a lot of complaints. Either way, I felt similar to like Birds of Prey and Civil War, where it's like, don't call, if it's going to be that much Doctor Strange in the movie, don't call it just a Spider-Man movie.
right,
Call it a Spider-Man and Doctor Strange movie. Don't
right,
call it a Birds of Prey movie when it's a Harley movie.
right.
Don't call it Civil War when it's not Civil War.
As long as
Yeah.
as long as Marissa Tomei is there, I'm good.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, is that Aunt May?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's such a babe.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm mildly excited about it. Berto's super stoked out, and I really asked him why after he said that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Sure, gonna watch it. I just always felt like it was not meant to be Peter. That seems very clear, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't write the movie, so who knows?
I mean, but they seem to be doing a lot of like Young Avengers stuff with all the new people they're introducing through the shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I think they already confirmed Ironheart, or on there, and I think that might be, and no, yeah, they confirmed Ironheart with Wakanda Forever. So, pretty cool. I don't know how they're going to incorporate that. I think probably because they said it in one of the other movies that it was going to be like a Wakanda outreach program. So that's one thing I can think of. I mean, they could always bring in Miles Morales as well, and if that ever happens.
That'd be weird though, 'cause, you know, like it'd just be 2 kids then. It's not supposed to, you know, like doesn't work.
Well, there's like, if it's Young Avenger.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Bye, Shanae.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, my sister was calling me.
Oh, it's okay.
But yeah. I mean, there's like maybe other young characters, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. I would think it would be.
Huh?
I think it'd be cool to see him in a live action movie. So.
Speaking
yeah.
of Miles Morales, I have this little guy.
Cute.
Yeah. That's him with his because he got his earmuffs and from this nice little deaf girl named Haley.
And he's got a Steve Zissou hat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His Life Aquatic.
Yeah.
Life Arachnid.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I tried.
Boo!
Boo this woman.
I need to get my own soundboard.
I'm sorry. I'll go take the call from my sister. I'm done.
Do that tugboat sound.
Okay, so video games.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Quake.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Yes. $10 for one of the greatest FPSs ever made.
Yeah, Quake is the first Quake is usually my favorite first-person shooter.
Yeah.
So QuakeCon, they announced like Shadow Drop this Quake remaster from Night Dive Studios. I love the games that Night Dive has done that I've played. Right? They did Blood, Fresh Supply, and Turok 1 and 2, and Shadow Man, and just an endless amount of things, mostly first-person shooters.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, fucking awesome. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy this right now. I'm gonna play it. Get on Steam. Turns out if you already had Quake, it's a free update.
Cool.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So like, for the past, I don't know how long. If I play Quake, I'm playing Quake Dark Places, which is a Quake mod that has existed for like 20 years. Right? Quake. The source code for Quake came out like 5 years after the game, and Dark Places came out like shortly after that. So this isn't that, right? Like, it's not an update in that way. It's kind of like what they've done with Blood and with Turok and with Shadow Man, in that like they try to preserve the game the way that you remember it. Right. Is it better than the original? Yes, it visually looks better than the original, you know?
Sure. But that's nostalgia for you, right?
Right. But Dark Places is like way, way beyond that, right? So you could play Dark Places for free, and that does look better. It just depends on what it is you're going for, the kind of experience you're going for.
I'm not familiar with Dark Places. Is it just like a visual...
yeah, you've heard me talk about like Quake Epsilon. Yeah. Like Epsilon is like an add-on to Dark Places.
Okay.
Like visually, it's just like the lighting is super realistic, and there's fog, and there's things that engine just did not allow for 25 years ago. You know. But that being said, like, one, I appreciate the fact that it doesn't replace the Quake I had with this new version of Quake.
Right.
I can still access my old Quake and play Dark Places if I want to, right?
My old Quake, and then my new Quake.
But, like, if you're looking for an experience that's closer to the original with some improvements, and you want to play multiplayer and, like, easily find Quake matches nowadays, like fully populated lobbies for Quake, you know, it's fucking awesome. So they gave it to me for free on Steam, so I bought the console version.
Yeah.
Because it's like $10. I was like, I'll throw them a bone, you know. The console version's great, man. Like, you guys have heard me say since 2017 now that like first-person shooters on consoles need to allow for gyro controls, you know, and like this does that, and like I don't think Quake would work on a console otherwise, you know, not well. I mean, yes, we had Quake 64,
sure,
but like who the fuck wants that, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking losers.
Yeah, so like it's pretty cool. Like it's just neat to me that Night Dive's doing all this work to preserve these old games, and that kind of makes me think about like the next game I've been playing is Saints Row the Third Remastered.
Hell
right?
yeah, that game rules.
Yeah, it's the only Saints Row that I really care for. But
it's the
like,
best one.
What's interesting is like that's not a new thing. I think the remaster of Saints Row 3 was like a year or two ago,
something like that.
And I'm like watching reviews and looking up reviews on it, and like it's so funny to me that like I fire up the game and I feel like this is the same game, right? It's the same. Yeah. It's just a port. It's not really a remaster. It's a port, you know. But if you go back and look at like side by side comparisons, it is drastically better.
Right.
It's just you remember it looking like that, but it didn't look anything like that.
Right.
You know. And I'm like, here's me. Uh, I've got this podcast, but I've got no like job in the industry. Certainly not a journalist, right?
Yeah.
And all these journalists are giving this port like bad scores because they're like, oh, they didn't really do anything. I'm
We're
like,
supposed to.
no, they did. Like, did you look at it? Like,
Yeah.
clearly they did a lot to it, you know?
Well, see, that's the thing too. Is like that's what we're talking about, right? Like nostalgia definitely paints how you remember things, and
Right.
if it's been like when did Saints Row the Third came out, like almost 10 years ago now, and so if you haven't seen the original release of that game in that long, and then you just
Right.
go and play this remaster, then you're gonna be like, well, it just looks the same. Well, because
And
that's how you
that's
remember
exactly
it.
what I thought until I looked it up. But like, I looked it up out of curiosity. Like, these people, it's their jobs to be looking that shit up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They just admit they're like dildos. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah, I don't know. It just it painted some high profile gaming sites very unfavorably to me, you know? Like it's I
Well,
don't know.
I think that because I do think that a considerable amount of work goes into doing a good remaster of a game.
Right.
And I think to kind of look at that and say, well, they didn't really do anything
Yeah.
is it's really just it's dismissive, you know? Um,
Well, and I think like had they gone through the trouble to compare the two,
sure.
they would not write that,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's not like it would be hard to get,
Right.
you know, the original version of the game.
Yeah, like it's drastically different.
and
That
it's
being said, if you
but
if you
it's
just
mostly
jump in,
visuals though, right?
yes, it's the same game.
So yeah, I mean, I guess like if they were saying something in some way like, oh, they didn't do really much as far as like any of the story or gameplay goes,
Hmm.
like that would be much different than
Sure.
saying that they didn't do anything.
Right, right, right.
Saying they haven't saying the phrase like, oh, they haven't really improved upon it, may be like somewhat accurate because they haven't changed the actual gameplay. But I didn't read the reviews. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're,
I mean, they are very much talking about a visual thing, you know. Well, typically when we see a remaster of this sort, they talk about things like frame rates and, you know,
Yeah.
resolutions and all that, but also textures and models and things like that, you know.
Sure.
And that's where most of the work seems to have gone. Yeah, the frame rate is a lot smoother than it was on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, completely new models for just about every character and car. Like, new textures for all sorts of shit. New lighting engine. Like, it's very. You won't notice it, right? Like, if you buy it and you play it, you won't notice it.
Right.
You know. But if you put them side by side, like you can't not notice it, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
mm,
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the last game I want to talk about is a game called Dread Templar, which is fucking rad.
Anything to do
guys.
with Judge Dredd, please.
No,
I see.
no,
any,
no, none of that crap.
anything to do with the Knights of the Templar.
I don't know what that is, but probably
Okay.
not. So it's a throwback FPS, right? And I guess like it was known as Hell Hunt. So if you guys heard of Hell Hunt before, like it's the same game.
No.
They just I guess had some sort of IP dispute and had to change the name. But like okay, so it's like Quake, except you start off with these two katanas, right?
Yeah.
And you can use them as your melee weapon, but then you can like slap them together and like chuck them like a javelin. It's
That's
like
cool.
super powerful, and that's
Nice.
really fun. But then also there's bullet time, which is really fun.
Yeah.
But then also like I've been playing like a shit ton of these
Yeah.
old school inspired first person shooters, right?
Yeah.
And this one does the smart thing that none of them seem to do of like, let's not just make it old school. Let's take like what's good from new games and use that too, you know? So there's like you've got this upgrade system to where you can upgrade your character and your weapons. And like it's such a small thing. It's not like super in depth or anything like that, right? But like it makes an old feeling game like that like so much more interesting.
Yeah. I'm looking it up right
But
now.
yeah, the game's fucking rad. It's in early access right now. I think it's like $14, but it's really cool.
It looks
And there's
neat.
a lot there. Yeah, and a bunch of like
Is
weird ass
it like
references.
so is it like a skill tree, or how do the upgrades work per se? Like
It's
per
like
se, that was a
you've got
weird
your
time to use that.
character, and then you've got your weapons, right? And you get these little red tokens that will unlock a spot for you to place an upgrade, but you have to find the upgrades individually throughout the levels.
So it's
Uh,
not like a progression path. Like
right.
it's more it's I don't. Is there a term for that?
I don't know. But like it's very like there are tons of these upgrade tokens. So you are very much making your own build, you know. Um and in that way it's really neat. But
What's your
like
build like? What you got? What you upgrade?
not a whole lot. I've upgraded like so pistols and SMGs fall in the same category, so I've like upgraded those to where they just like shoot super fast and don't have to reload anymore, you know, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Hmm.
Uh but
Reloading's for
yeah,
babies.
it's just a really neat game and it's a lot better than a lot of these throwback shooters are,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, because I think that a lot of the time, those like a lot of those throwback shooters kind of borrow like the wrong things from from the games that inspire them, and I think it's cool like when because it's kind of like when I was like with Proteus, I felt like it took a lot of the things that like I like about those old shooters and then like put it around like some other updated shit. So
Yeah. Yeah, Proteus is really good. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones, right? But like
yeah.
for every good one there's like a dozen fucking shitty ones, you know.
Yeah.
Um
Atomies are the same.
yeah.
uh,
But
but
Quake, go play Quake. It's on everything. They put it on everything. Microsoft bought Bethesda, so I was like, no way they're gonna put it on PlayStation, but they did, you know.
um, is it the new Skyrim? It's on your fridge. It's on your toaster.
No, but what's interesting is like they put it on. I figured they would put it on Nintendo because their relationship with Nintendo has been pretty good so far, right?
And Nintendo's been a
Ori
lot
and the
better
Blind
about third
Forest
party.
and all that crap, right? And I didn't expect them to put it on PlayStation 5. And of course, it's free on Game Pass for your Xbox. But like, what's interesting is that they put it on all platforms, and those other platforms are arguably better than their own, like to play this specific game on, because Microsoft does not offer any sort of gyro in their controllers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's a strange decision, but I'm glad they made that decision.
So like it makes me wonder like what that game is like on Xbox.
I mean, I'm sure it's not terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you played like Doom Eternal on console, you know, like it's not as good as it is with the mouse and keyboard,
Sure.
but like you can still play the game,
Yeah.
you know.
You won't enjoy it, but you can play it.
No, I mean, I'm sure you could still find some enjoyment there, right? But like, yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I mean, it's like playing like fucking Quake 2, you know? Like they put that on consoles and
Yeah.
like it was fine.
Sure. Uh, I mean, I don't really care much for Quake 2 in any context, really. But
Hmm.
you know the
You said that
For your
almost
first, your
as
first
if
thing.
it had offended you.
I mean, a little bit. You know, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's too bright.
If his child disappoints him, he's gonna rename the child to Quake 2.
Oh, and speaking of, like, they included the fucking Trent Reznor soundtrack, which had been missing from official releases of the game for years.
Yeah.
You know,
Why?
I would
I
assume
think,
due to licensing. I'm not sure,
yeah.
but like, it's back, and like the nail crates have the Nine Inch Nails thing on them again, and like, it's I don't know.
Quake is just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Not Quake 4 though.
But what have you been playing, Ryan?
Man, a lot. So I'm still playing Red Dead Online. I kind of just check in to do dailies and if there's like a new criminal contract to do. I've been doing that. They did introduce this this new wave-based. Shanae, are you okay?
I died.
Man, that was cool.
just floored her with that news.
What?
Wave based.
I can't believe it.
But yeah, so they've it's this new like wave based like kind of a horde mode for Red Dead Online. Basically, what you do is you go to one of the towns in the game, and the objective is you and up to 3 other people are helping helping the people defend that town from bad guys. And so the way it works is like you show up to the town, and then the game is like, well, take these NPCs that are going to be helping you fight, and position them strategically around the town, and then when you're done, you can start the thing. Or if you'd like, you can just skip that. Like if everybody votes to just skip that, then you can. And so like any horde mode, it'll throw like each wave like is comprised of like a certain number of guys, and between waves you have the opportunity to heal the NPCs or like get more ammo or whatever. And it's a really cool mode because it's really fun to kind of like it's fun to like just kind of be like in this like set space with like other players and fight these guys off. The problem is though that it's kind of long. The waves are like usually like 40 or 50 guys, and this is like a big area, so that those waves can take a long time to get through. And how much like your monetary reward at the end is based on how many waves you complete. The problem that because I've been playing it with Kaylee, and the problem that we keep running into is like usually like wave 5, because it's like 10 waves, and usually like around wave 5, at least one of the other 2 people will just leave. And then after that, if like the other guy that's still there, like if he goes down, then he'll leave. So we've never finished this like a full run of this mode because people leave, and then at a certain point it just becomes untenable with 2 people.
So you don't just go till you die?
Huh?
You're not just playing till you die then?
No, it's 10 waves. So
Does it change difficulty if you don't have like the 4 people?
And
Like if you just have 2 people start in?
That's the thing too, is like I think it's balanced for 4 people, regardless of how many people you're actually playing it. So
if you start at 2, it's the same difficulty as if you start at 4.
Yeah, and it's not
That's
like,
annoying.
It's not like people can join halfway through or anything.
But they can leave.
Yeah, they can certainly leave. And like what sucks though is that sometimes one of those spots will be taken up by, because you get a lot of XP for doing this mode, and sometimes one of the spots will be like filled by by one guy who will just like find somewhere to hide and just like ride it out until see how far you can get. Well, it's not the XP that they get, but like you get like everybody gets paid equally depending on how far you make it, regardless of how many people they kill. So like somebody could just be farming money that way, but like there are more fun ways to do that, and there are also faster ways to do that than just hanging out in that mode. And it sucks because like it would be really cool. I'm thinking like, well, this would be really awesome if someone who actually wanted to participate had that spot. But other than that,
that's hard. Like you gotta find.
Does friendly fire exist? Just kill them.
And you gotta find like friends of yours to play with you.
Well, that's the thing, is that like the only
He doesn't have friends.
Sure. The only 2 people that I know who enjoy playing that game are me and Kaylee.
Yeah.
So,
I've been eyeballing that Aliens game because I've heard it's pretty good. But I heard like it is not good solo. You know.
So
like
right.
Don't play it solo. Apparently.
So I actually started playing that last night. Aliens Fire Team Elite, I think it's called. And so it's a game set in the Aliens universe for 1 to 3 players, and basically it's like I don't know what to compare this to. Well, essentially you and up to 2 other people, like, you're going through these different missions, completing various objectives, and like all the while, like, xenomorphs are just like spilling out of the wall at you, and of various types. You got your spitters, you got your bursters, you got your drones, you got your warriors, all this shit. And every player can be a different class. Like, you have your gunner, who just has like their standard assault rifle. You have a medic. You have a technician who can do a turret, and you have a demolisher, I think it's called, and he's got that big smart gun that people know from Aliens. And it's really like I was playing it with two other friends last night, and it is so fun playing that with 2 other people. I played like the first half of the first mission by myself just to get a feel for the game, and if you don't have 2 other people, it'll set you up with like 2 AI companions, but they're like there's two problems with that. One is that those AI companions are like moderately incompetent, and 2, they're also just like they're also like very strange looking, so it's like hard to look at them because they're just like they're
like working Joes, right?
Yeah, it's a couple of working Joes, yeah. And they're very funny looking, and so like it's very distracting to me.
I heard the single player was not good. Yeah, but that it's really fun with friends.
It's so much fun playing with other people.
Can you pick the same class as other people? Like, if one person picks some.
Presumably, because like you level up the classes, like they have like
but it's like the long haul thing. Like, you should pick a class and stick with it. You shouldn't be switching around.
Yeah, so
because I'm just imagining like just like a team of medics going through this game.
I mean, and that's the thing too, is that like you kind of as you go through the missions, you really have to kind of balance your team, because like you have to cover each other's weaknesses a lot of the time. But when you have like when you have like 2 other people, it's like so funny because like the behavior of your other 2 companions is just like so much more predictable, and like the circumstances become more unpredictable. But
you're playing that on PS5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think that if like as far as cooperative action shooters go, it's really, really good. It's a lot of fun. Like, and I think that if you're a fan of the movies, at least as far as like the action aspect of those movies, I think you'll find a lot to like. Basically, if you're a fan of Aliens, you'll love it, I guess. But it's a fun game, and I think that I don't know. I haven't really read any reviews on it. But I'm sure that there have been the inevitable Colonial Marines comparisons. The game is.
I feel like it's a fair comparison if you're going to compare in the same franchise to other Aliens games.
Yeah, well, I think the big problem with Colonial Marines though is
the game itself.
Well, like I think one of the things that
Randy Pitchford.
I think that one of the things that made the game like not fun to play is just that like there was no like real variation in the like the way that the aliens attacked you. They kind of all just like ran at you, and you just that was just the thing. Whereas now like they're doing like they're coming out of the vents, and like the different alien types will like try to attack you in different ways. And also like it's just really cool like when you're like in a big open area and you're just watching them like climb down the walls like all around you. It's just a very cool thing.
I don't like that. You need to go away. I'm not inviting it into my life.
So there's cross gen, but there's no cross platform.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Quake is crossplay. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Well, I think more.
We get it. Quake is the best.
I mean, I would say Quake is a better game than this game, but it's still very good. I think, and even if even if you don't frame it against like the most recent Aliens game, or the more recent Aliens game, I should say, it's still really good. You know, I think
it's good regardless.
Yeah, I think it's a solid cooperative action shooter. But aside from that, Kayla and I have been playing this game called Tribes of Midgard.
Oh, I know that game.
Yeah, so it's just basically this game where you are a Norse warrior called a Nine-Herjar. That's a word I learned from that game. And so the whole...
That's made up.
Well, I mean, it's all made up. But like...
all words are made up, Tom. That's how language works.
Yeah, stay woke. But but so the main loop of the game is basically like you have a town where you're supposed to be protecting a seed of the life tree. And in this town you have different NPCs that you can interact with. Like there's a blacksmith, and there's an armorer, and then there's like a healer and all these other people. You can upgrade them separately using souls that you've gotten either from enemies that you've killed or from resources that you've harvested. And
they say or friends that you've killed.
So you have to. So the strategy comes from like, well, there's different facets to it, but like you have to decide like, are you going to use the souls to upgrade this NPC so that you can get better equipment, or are you going to give some of those souls to this the life tree? Because every night, like waves of enemies come at the town, and they're all they're trying to do is destroy the tree and
get that seed.
Yeah, trying to get that good seed. So you have to stop them from doing that. And so the more souls that the tree has in it, the longer it'll last. So during the daytime, what you're trying to do is gather resources to fortify your walls, to get better equipment and stuff like that. So like as you level up your equipment and level up your character, you're having to venture further and further out to get different materials and face harder and harder enemies. And like I think by the fourth day, a Jotun attacks your town, and you have to try to kill the Jotun before he breaks through and destroys the tree. And like that's the thing too, is like once that Jotun makes it through the wall, you're pretty much done for, because like that Jotun it does one powerful attack on the tree, and then that's it, and then it's game over.
There's no like tower defense aspect to it or nothing.
I think the farthest you're gonna get with a tower defense aspect is there are towers you can set at each gate. Each gate has 2 towers, archer towers at it, and you can upgrade those so they do more damage and stuff. But that's about as far as
they're not
goes.
They're not gonna protect
those archers aren't gonna kill a god.
And that's the thing too, is that like it's run based. So you're kind of trying to figure out like, because once that like no matter how far you're in, once that tree goes, then it's game over, and you got to start over. So I like it's figuring out like. Do you what?
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say, because you said you have to get further and further from the village to get resources. Can the village be attacked and like you not be in it? Like you go camp somewhere? So, I mean, just berserker that shit. Just go out one direction super far.
We'll see.
And then just make sure you're back by the day 4.
Well, that's the thing too, is
and
that
then put everything into it.
Is that you can't do that, because the farther out you go, the stronger the enemies are, and there's a minimum power level that you have to get. And if you don't meet that power level, you're just gonna get demolished anyway.
It's a no-win game.
The combat in the game feels really good. It is overall a fun game, but it's a very challenging game. And the game does allow you the game does scale based on how many players are in like the session. I think it supports up to 10. And like you can technically play the game solo, but like everything I've seen says that like that's nigh impossible. So, but overall, I think the game is really good. I think that it's going to take a little bit more of like me thinking about how to play that, because I've never really played a game like that's kind of like this before. That is like doing all these things at the same time in this kind of context. but I like it enough to kind of see if I can get any better at it. Also, I'm still doing some Guilty Gear Strive. I have like a dedicated group of friends that I play Strive with. They have that new character, Gold Lewis Dickinson, the Secretary of Absolute Defense, the Cryptids Collector. And his whole thing is that he fights by swinging a coffin around, and the coffin has like aliens and shit inside of it that like help him out. Yeah, it's
Guilty Gear has the craziest fucking characters. That was blue.
well, like the funny thing about Strive is that like one of the most underused characters that I've seen so far is Faust. And I keep forgetting that Faust is in the game until like I happen upon a random YouTube video that has Faust in it, but like nobody plays that guy. But it's quickly becoming necessary for me to like have like a group of people to play that with, because I've been finding it harder to kind of find matches in like just the regular online mode. There's still people playing it, but like it's just the initial like rush
Wave.
the initial wave of people playing it when the game came out has like everybody like that is tapered off. So the people who have decided that game's not for them have already left. But overall, I think
all the people you could beat have already left.
yeah, it's a great game. I really enjoy it. It's probably it's the only Guilty Gear that I've put a considerable amount of time in to. But it's also like probably like one of my favorite fighting games of the last few years. And I'm looking forward to seeing if like, you know, like how good, like if I'll be any good at it in a few years. Maybe we'll see. And I think and then I've also been playing Yakuza 6 still. That's going really well.
How's the baby?
I don't
Still alive?
actually. The baby is alive. I'm actually at the point of the story I'm at right now. I'm not currently with the baby.
Oh, you got a babysitter?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like you should have done in the beginning.
Well, I had to Kiryu had to go back to Tokyo to handle some business, so he left the baby with someone he trusted back in Hiroshima. So but again, like I said before, like I'm really taking my time with that game because I'm not ready for the journey to end. Because I don't know when I'm gonna see that dude again after this, or if I will. I don't know how this game ends, so I don't know what happens. But you know, it's a game that is like really, really good in like a lot of different ways. Like it does a lot as far as like the side activities and the whole like kind of realizing, you know, the world, like the world of Yakuza, like in a way that I think wasn't possible on previous games. With that said, like I kind of feel like I like because with the new engine that they use for this game, they also changed how fighting works in those games in Yakuza, and I don't know if I'm that into it. I feel like I like the older style a little bit better. At the same time,
Understandably,
it looks cooler
especially since you've gotten used to it by playing so many games.
Yeah.
And you now have that muscle memory built in with this game.
Yeah,
so not only is it like adjusting, but it's also like you recent comparison to make.
Yeah, I think honestly, if I had played those other games when they came out, then this would be less of an issue for me. But I kind of just played through all of the Yakuza games leading up to this one in a very short period of time. So it's so the difference is a lot more apparent to me. But it's at the same time, it's like it's a great game, you know. It's just kind of like the more I play it, the more I think about like what I hope that series is moving forward. I know that looks like the like a dragon is probably the kind of, it sounds like everything sounds like that's the format that they're going to be using moving forward for that franchise, at least for the foreseeable future. But as much as I'm looking forward to actually finally playing that game, I feel like I'm really going to miss just the way that these current games play. And lastly, I've been playing a game called Going Under. It is a dungeon crawler that is about working at a beverage company, and basically you're an unpaid intern named Jackie. What's her name? Jackie Fiasco. And you work at this company called Fizzle, and the thing that everybody asks you to do is to go into these dungeons and fight these monsters and bring things back for them or accomplish tasks for them. Each of these dungeons is actually the ruins of a failed startup. So the first one is,
I like that.
The first one you go to is a startup called Joblin, and it's about it's just all these. It's filled with goblins called Joblins, and they are obsessed with productivity, and they drink a lot of energy drinks and coffee. I thought
this was gonna be a Steve Jobs joke, but I'm still down for it.
I don't think that's.
I was like, I also thought Going Under when he started with beverage company. I was like, oh, this is like Undercover Boss. So okay with that. That was not that either.
Yeah, but so like there's all so basically like when you go into these dungeons, you go in with like no weapons, and you kind of have to procure your weapons on site. And so you'll use everything from like computer keyboards to ping pong paddles to like just like all sorts of like things that you can pick up. And there are also more conventional weapons like spears and swords and stuff like that. And then each dungeon is 4 floors. It's 3 regular floors and then the boss floor. And as you're going through these floors, you can pick up different skills, and they're all like very like corporate themed. Like they have like very corporate themed names like Synergy and like there's one that was like something like Group Project or some shit like that, and they all do different things. Like there's one skill that I got was called like Cloud Server. And like an actual cloud like follows me around, like strikes enemies with lightning and stuff. And so like what I like about it is it has like a lot of like really there's like a lot of commentary about like corporate culture and like specifically as far as like the tech industry is concerned and how people are treated in that industry and stuff, and they kind of contextualize it inside the satire, and it's like a lot of fun. It's like a really cool it's a really cool game to like just kind of chill out and play and like go like do a couple runs of these dungeons, and like these are like one of the dungeons is a startup for a failed cryptocurrency called Styx Coin. And like everybody who worked there was like some undead skeleton, and they're like literally mining for cryptocurrency like with pickaxes and stuff. And there's a blockchain down there, but it's like it looks like a chain chomp from Mario. It's a cool little game. Like I like it a lot, and I wish that like I do wish that there was kind of a little bit more to it like content wise, but what's there is like really really cool. It's definitely a challenging game, but like they also have there are also accessibility options in the settings to like so that you can tweak it to different things to your experience. Not like there's not just like an easy hard or difficult or easy normal or hard. Like there are different things to like kind of change the experience for you. But yeah, I've been playing that a lot, and I really really enjoy it. I've been looking at it for a while, but like I'd never like actually heard like anybody bring it up. So I thought I'd give it a shot, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So now I'm just recommending it to everybody. So I recommend that you guys play it. I think it's on everything.
Should we check it out?
Yeah, you should check a look. I'm pretty sure I know it's on computer. It's also on Switch too and PlayStation. So, and it's probably on Xbox as well. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's all I've been playing. Which is to say, it's a lot. I've been playing a lot of video games.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, my bad.
Good year. Yeah. And on the opposite, I've played very little except for Romancing. Mhm. But yeah, do y'all have any closing thoughts?
I forgot one game that I just played before the show.
What was it?
I've only played like 15 minutes of it so far, but my friend sent me a link for this game. It's called White Hell, which like
That sounds so
of course
familiar.
my brain's like thinking of all the hilarious games that could be titled White Hell.
Sure.
But it's nothing like that. It's a throwback FPS. It's like super plain, like think like GoldenEye 64 graphics, but like worse than that, you know?
I'm looking it up.
And like in the 15 minutes I played, I'm like, okay, well this is fun, but like it's not anything fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But then I come across like this lake with like ice on the lake, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's dudes standing on the ice, and like I can shoot and break the ice beneath them, and I'm like, dude, why hasn't like fucking Call of Duty done that, you know?
That's kind of weird.
Like, yeah. So that was interesting. But White Hell, it's not great, but it's interesting.
I just looked it up, and the cover art is a very muscular, grizzled white feller holding a laser sword and a rifle. And
Yeah, I think he's wearing like a crop top too.
yeah, he's wearing a crop top. It's like it's like
It's a hot girl summer.
it's like a crop top poncho t-shirt combo, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know this. Whenever
I won't say that it's bad. Like it's fun. I'm having fun with, well, at least 15 minutes in, I'm having fun
like
with
you
it.
don't know if it's bad or good though.
Right. But like it's just a weird one.
Does
It's a
the
weird
guy
one.
does the guy talk?
Not yet.
Okay, because he looks like he sounds like Duke Nukem.
I mean, you drinking beer for health, so you
Hell
find
yeah.
beer all over the place.
I like
you
that.
know? No like strippers yet or anything like that.
Whack.
And the only enemies so far have been like neo-Nazis and like this bear with rockets. But like, it's been pretty neat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mad to kill a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, that's always a
The
good
bear with rockets sounds like he died before his time though.
time. Yeah, he didn't get to reach his full potential.
But yeah,
It's always interesting to me, like when a shitty game. Well, I don't want to say shitty. That's mean. When a smaller game like this,
uninteresting looking game.
like does something so simple as that, and I'm like, why? I've not seen that in any like AAA game. Why?
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know, because it's just I can't imagine it was any kind of oversight. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that, like, you know, they couldn't do like that. That's something they just didn't think of.
I played plenty of first-person shooters with snow levels. You know.
Yeah. Lots of them, in fact.
There's
Yeah.
a whole bunch. I mean, I can't think of anything really terrain related in any of the Call of Duty games I played where like you could kill them with the terrain. Like you can't just like use like a rocket launcher on like a hill and make an avalanche or anything.
Yeah.
See, that'd be sweet.
Why?
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Because then you can't do 360 no scope kill.
I'm sure you.
The
probably
Earth,
could.
the Earth killed them.
Yeah, you
I'm
go.
sure you probably could. You know, Red Faction's been around forever.
Yeah,
That's
Geomod.
true.
Which, by the way, if you haven't, definitely play Red Faction Guerrilla. That game kicks ass.
It does.
Oh, wait, hold on. I remember it kicking ass. It might not actually. So don't.
No, it's still really good.
Okay.
And then like Red Faction 1 is surprisingly still really fun.
Yeah. I remember the first time I played Red Faction 1 was like on a PlayStation 2 demo disc.
Yeah.
It's a good game though. Red Faction 2 blows though.
I bought it recently for like $1 something.
Red Faction 2?
Yeah, and like I can't get it to run right. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons it sucks.
What's the Red Faction with the green cover? Conquer or something? Isn't it?
I think it's
You're thinking of Command and Conquer.
Conker's bad for a day.
I'm gonna find one thing out after the show and show y'all. But was there anything else that y'all wanted to add?
Nope. No, not really.
I've said enough.
What if you want to tell us about the games you've been playing? Please let us know on our Discord. It will be linked on, I know at least the YouTubes. Probably other places like, there's like Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, Podomatic, Spotify.
Ryan,
most
it doesn't
podcast
look
apps.
like more when you do that.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Ryan, your hair is the exact same. But yeah, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I have to pee.